Good morning, everyone. Today is Tuesday, October 7th, and today begins the new series of the RODY ETF. It's not actually an ETF, of course. It's just me playing around with options. So, what I decided to do is to venture out more so in the options world and learn things that I to be honest, I've been kind of wanting to learn. I just haven't had the motivation to. But I've decided to finally take the deep dive, and I would like to share how I do this along the way. All right. So again, for those of you new to the channel or new to this series, what is RODY? As you can hear in the background, it's only fitting that RODY is actually here for this video. RODY is the cricket, right? I started this channel. Well, I started the channel recording in a car, and then most of it was recorded in a garage because, as most of you know, I record at the crack of dawn. And in order to not wake up my family, I have to go to the garage because that is the most, I'll say that's the quietest spot I can be loud without waking up the entire family. And within the garage, lies crickets or cricket. Roddy the cricket. We named him because he's always a part of the video. And now he has a special ETF name. Again, it's not an actual ETF. It's just me making up. You're using his name for the series. So this is the Roddy series essentially. And I'm going to essentially just do my own trades like it's my own fund and hopefully learn as I go and hopefully teach you guys a thing or two as we go and go from there. So yeah, hopefully that's why there's a cricket on the thumbnail. That's where the name Roddy came from, and so on and so forth. All right. Hopefully that all makes sense. All right. I will still be covering YieldMax, just not to the detail that I used to do and not on a daily basis. I will try to figure out, the best way to do it based on feedback as I get it. Again, I can't, unfortunately, I just cannot do, line by line all of the trades anymore because, to be quite frank, I'm plugging all these numbers and I'm not even going through line by line. So it's not even worth it. So I'm going to look at it as a whole, and that way I can also talk about more funds. So I have an idea and I'll share it with you guys when I do have the time. But that being said, I'll also, since I'm not sharing daily YieldMax videos, I'll try to do more on my X. I have an X account. It's at retire on dividend, no D. So if you want to keep up with any content that I'm not putting on YouTube, that may be of a benefit to maybe give me a follow, and then we'll go from there. All right. All right. Again, I'm recording. This is a pre-record. I'm recording on StreamYard on just the one screen. And of course, I'm going to check Bitcoin. Let's refresh the screen. It's currently at 124,000. And yeah, man, it's been doing good. What can you say? That's the 7-day. Let's look at the 1-day. The 1-day, yeah, it was up here. What did it hit? Wow, it did hit 126, which is pretty interesting. Let's look at the 1 month though. Look at that. What a beauty, man. So this was the time to buy down here, the 109 range, right? I think it hit 108. And now here we are at 124. I mean, and who's to say it's not going to come back down, right? As it may. But again, like I said on yesterday's tweet, I'm buying at the high, I'm buying at the low, I'm buying at whatever price because I'm not a whole Bitcoiner, but I want to be. I do. I want to be. And I'm working on it. And it's going to take me a while because my stubborn ass was too lazy to look into the value and what Bitcoin's all about early on. Even though I was in early on, I was in 2017, and I was just playing around like a fool. So, as the ambassador says, you get Bitcoin at the price you deserve. So this is the price I deserve. All right. Anyway, so what am I doing? That's the question. What the heck is this series about? Well, let me take a sip of water, then we'll get into it. In the meanwhile, you can listen to Roddy. Okay, let me explain what I'm doing. So I've decided to, with the help of a username SB, he's in the Discord, my Discord channel. Yes, it's free, so feel free to join. There's an options trading section, a lot of geniuses in there, which, to be honest, that's where I go to if I have a question. And he was helpful enough to, give me an idea, which he's been kind of using. And that's really, to keep it short and sweet, it's a synthetic position. So if you think about kind of what YieldMax does, right? Buy call, sell put, you know, that's what they're doing to create their synthetic position, the exposure to the underlying upward or downward. Now, the reason I want to create this position is to sell calls on the position. Some call it poor man covered calls, which means you do not own the underlying, but you own a long call, which replaces the underlying. So that's the idea behind it. All right. So me buying this long call, again, there's 3 trades here, and I'll show you them broken down in a second. But I just wanted to give screen prints too, just in case people don't believe me that I'm actually doing them. Here is the actual screen print from Thinkorswim. So yes, I bought call, I sold put. I'm sorry, this is well, that's why it's red for sell put. And then I've also bought a put. All right. So I don't want to confuse you guys, but there's 3, they call it 3 legs. We can say for simplicity, 3 transactions, and it's all done at the same time. Okay. So I sold a put. Again, that's the only selling part of this. I sold a put and I got a credit of 317, and that's right here, right? 317. I bought a call that's a little more expensive, 348. And it's, again, I chose the same strike and same expiration date. So if you look up here, I'm using ticker symbol open, by the way. And who cares what ticker I use? Don't think, oh, open's gonna blow up, open's gonna go to the moon. Who the hell knows what open's gonna do? I just used it because it's cheap. And I really do. I do feel like I feel comfortable about it and the idea behind it. Maybe it's all speculation. Maybe it's going to tank and go to 0. I don't know. But this is just what I chose. I'm not saying to choose them. I'm certainly not. But anyway, open. They yesterday in the beginning of the day they were kind of down, I believe. And where the heck is the strike price? Oh, there it is. Okay. Again, when you do a 3-leg trade, it's a little complicated on the breakdown. So I bought a call at 8. I sold a put at 8. Expiration date May 15th, 26. And again, typically, when you do a long dated call, right, that gives you the time to utilize it. Most people when they do the poor man covered calls, they typically do it over an expense, a period of time. That way, they can sell calls throughout that entire period. So that's why I chose a May 15th, 2026 expiration. All right. So again, that gives me exposure to the upward or downward movement of the underlying open. However, I'm doing something a little different. It's kind of from the Granite Shares book, and I'm buying a put. All right. So this down here, this is a put that I bought. Now, the strike price that I chose is $6. So what does that do for me? Why would I buy a put as well? Well, for one, it saves me. Like, remember we said about open, we don't know, it can go to 0. If it goes to 0, I'm protected from 6 on, right? So if I buy a put, it's going to protect my, the downward exposure, anything under 6 essentially. So, the gap between 8 and 6, that's my risk, if it goes down, obviously. So that is the downward protection, right? Protective collar, protective. Again, they got all these fancy terms. I don't really know if this 3-legged trade has an actual term. I don't really care, to be honest. I'm calling it a synthetic with downward protection. Okay, I know, not a fancy name, not pretty, but that's what I'm calling it. All right, so again, that gives me the long exposure of the underlying, right? And it limits my downward exposure of the underlying. Okay. Hopefully that makes sense so far. Now, the expense of it is 210. All right. So again, 348 per share, right? 348 per share. Credit 317. And then again, expense 348, credit 317, expense 179. Because again, you have to pay for the put. You want to protect the downside, your ass got to pay for that downside protection. So I paid for it. And in the end, I had to pay 210 per share. All right, 210 per share or $210 per contract. And one thing also to mention, I did do 3 contracts. I didn't just want to do one because that's kind of lame-o. I figured I'd venture out a little, be a little brave. All right, I'll do 3. And I'm not gonna lie, guys. Before I put in this trade, I did record it and I gave it. I put it in the Wolfpack series because I was scared. I'm not gonna lie. I was scared to hit this button. I'm still scared. I don't even know what the hell. Again, I've never done this, so this is like, all right. I think I did it right. So let's hope for the best. All right. So here's it broken down from a format you guys are typically used to. So let me actually, I'll freeze the panes here. I'll freeze the columns up to column C. Okay. Roddy's full blown. He's having fun today. All right. So here's the execution date. Again, that was yesterday, October 6th. Actually, let me make sure I'm still recording and talking. There you go. All right. It is working. Here, so again, I did the trade yesterday, and the expiration date is May 15th, 2026. Number of days till expiration, 221. Not a full year, obviously, but close enough. So I can consider that, a leap in my book. Number of contracts, we're showing 3. Actually, I'm just going to take out contract because this is like a waste of width, as they say. Width. There you go. Shrink that. I'll make it a little bigger so it's not as bad. All right. So, or should we do number C? There we go. C. Boom. All right. The price of the stock at the time was 823. The strike price that I chose was in the money, right? So it cost a little more, but again, a little lower. I chose a lower price. It was $8, 2.79% in the money. The current price, I'll get into this. The current price is $9 now, so I'm not gonna lie. I got lucky, and we'll get into that too. All right, so here's the premiums that they charge. That's per share though, and then I have a calculation here. So it's going to take the premium I paid, right? Where is it? So, well, no, it's going to take the contracts times 100. So 3 contracts times 100, and you're going to multiply that by the open premium plus the closed premium. Right now, there is no closed premium because we didn't close it. It's open. So the call actually did cost me 1,044. And then here's the put. I got a credit of 951. Again, the reason I'm doing these 2 and the reason YieldMax does it, again, the minimal expense here, right? If I net the 2, if I didn't do the downside exposure, I would only be paying 93 out of pocket. So if you wanted to do something like this and you don't even give a damn about the downside, then you could save your ass some money. However, I did protect my downside more so. Well, actually, no, it's for both. It's for both, being a little scared of the downside and also learning. I wanted to learn. I want to see how this goes. I've never bought a put. That's the first put I've ever bought. Again, you saw me. I bought Leaps for the first time a few weeks ago, so that kind of really gave me the idea to even try something like this. But anyway, the full expense is $630, and that's pretty much all you have to see on this page. So the running total for the synthetic. Again, I'm calling this whole thing the synthetic, even the buy put. So take it for what it's worth. It's a synthetic in my eyes. I don't know. Should I add protective, blah, blah, blah? I don't know. You guys, if there is a name for this 3-legged trade, please let me know. And I'll change the tab name to that. I actually did try to Google it and grok it, but I couldn't figure out, a good name for it. And if it's too long, I'm not putting that long ass name. So let's get over that. All right. So now let's get into the calls. I was ready. So the idea was I was going to open this position. Let me freeze the panes up here. Roddy's just, they keep going, man. Dun, dun, dun. If I just pause, we could just listen. You guys can like use this as what, white noise, and fall asleep to the cricket. Some people fall asleep to cricket noises, right? All right. Anyway, I need more water. So the whole point of this, by the way, is so I can sell calls. All right. So I can sell covered calls. All right. Makes sense? Now, why don't I just buy the shares and sell calls? Well, let's see. If I bought if I bought 300 shares at $8, how much would I have to pay? Right? I'd have to pay, 20, oh my God, 2,000, was it $2,400, right? So obviously eight, you multiply that by 300, total $2,400. I just want to show you. I'm not making up numbers, but so that's how much, if I wanted to sell covered calls, that's how much out of pocket that would cost. Not to mention, I don't have downward, there's no protection on the downside. So if I want the protection on the downside, I'd have to still buy this put. Okay. So if you think about it, for this same exposure to sell covered calls on 300 shares, I paid $93 versus $2,400. So again, that's cash I'd have to shell out and use to buy the shares, which by the way, they weren't even that cheap. They were $8.23. So if technically this formula should be pulling from sell I, so it would be almost $2,500, if that makes sense. All right. So instead, I paid what? What do we say? $93. So that's one reason to do this. And then obviously that cash that I'm not using, I could be doing other things. Right now, that cash is doing other options, which is another discussion, by the way. Maybe it shouldn't be. Maybe it shouldn't be. Maybe it should be a little safer. Maybe I should make a bucket for a high interest option in case any of this does get assigned. Because if this does get assigned, then obviously I have to cover that, right? Because I am selling a put after all at $8. However, I'm protected after 6, so we're okay there. But we'll see again. But anyway, back to the point of the call. So the point of doing this whole thing is so I could sell covered calls on all 300 shares. Now, for those of you who are in the Wolfpack and watched the video yesterday, I tried to do it all on the video. And when I went to sell a call on the long call, right, the synthetic position, Thinkorswim went, they made that funky noise. Like, oh boy, what the hell did I do? Did I hit the wrong button? But basically it said, you cannot do this. You cannot do this. Your options level, buddy, you ain't good enough. So what I had to do was apply for a higher level of authority to sell calls on uncovered positions. Again, this is uncovered because I don't physically own the shares. So to them, it's like naked covered calls. We naked. All right. So I applied for it. I had to wait and wait and wait. I actually ended up getting approved last night. So I'm happy about that. At the same time, I'm scared as hell, but I am happy about that. I wouldn't recommend it unless you have balls of steel, unless you know what you're doing, or unless you're a complete degenerate. I don't know. But again, I need to do this in order to do the transaction. So what happened is I could not sell calls yesterday during the market. And I was like praying. I'm like, well, I hope open doesn't go down. I hope it doesn't. And sure enough, they announced that they're accepting Bitcoin and they flew up $1. I'm like, hallelujah, hallelujah. So something as simple as my account not being prepared to do the trade worked out fantastico. And now it's up $1. Because again, I was going to do aggressive calls. I was going to sell calls at 850. I'm not going to lie. 850. So now what I can do, again, it's at 929. I could look at the pre-market over here. Again, I know the screen might not be the best of viewing, but I'm trying to do my best to get this in a good. Oh, open is actually up. It was down in the pre-market. Now it's up 0.22%. So it's at 930. So what I'm going to do today, I'm going to sell a call. I'm probably going to sell all three calls, maybe at a 950 strike price, or I could do a 9, a 950, and a 10. I don't know, but I'm going to go pretty aggressive and go for the premium. Again, this is a premium capture strategy. This is not a capital gain strategy. This is a premium income strategy. I am an income investor. So I'm going to play for the hell of it. Let's just plug in. We'll look at the numbers. Again, this is as of the close, though, so it's not 100% accurate. So again, execution date will be today, assuming I have a freaking second to do the trade. Number of contracts. Let's just do all three. Hypothetical right now, assuming I choose the same strike for all. We'll do 930 because that's the current price. And then we'll choose a call at 950. That's, again, only 2.15% out of the money. All right, so now we're going to move over here to the Thinkorswim platform. I already have it set up. So here is the options chain on open. And if I scroll down to 950, I'm going to go to the left. That is the call side. So first off, you see the delta very high, 0.49. So I would plug that in here. Again, I like to track the delta to see like what worked, what didn't, what's a good delta, what's not. It's just something good to look at. But more importantly, what are they paying me, brah? What am I getting paid, brah? Up in her. All right, so here the ask is 62. So the sellers are asking for 0.62. The buyers are bidding 0.59. The last, no, that's delta. The last, which I need to reorganize this. I should probably put the last to the right. Yeah, I'll do that when I get a sec. But anyway, I'm going to use the last, and the last is 0.61. I'm not saying that's what I'm going to get, but I'm just saying that's what I'm going to plug in because that's typically what I try to get. And it is what, if it's a very liquid options chain, that is what you'll typically get. So 61 cents per share times 100 contracts is $61. Times 3 contracts is $183 in premium. Now, again, is that a lot of money? Not really. But again, you didn't really look how much I put up. If I go over here to the trades, actually, no, here to the synthetic, how much did I put up? Again, I'm putting up $630. And I plan to do many, many more calls in the future. This is only out for 1 week. So I would be essentially crediting that by $183 already. I would think I could be, cash equal maybe after 3 to 4 weeks, right? If I keep making 183 or even more. I mean, of course, I could go even more aggressive, right? I could do an in the money. I could do a $9. I could do one of them at $9, and that would pay me 81 cents, right? So I could spread it out. I could do a 9, I could do a 950, and I could do a 10. I may do that. I just don't know. I have to think about it, right? But again, I'm just showing you as if I just did all three contracts, one strike. And that's what it would pay me. All right. I'm not sure if I did this annualized right. I don't know. I feel like it's all screwed up. But maybe just because I'm going super aggressive too. But obviously the annualized is out of control, 8,400%. So yeah, so that's the plan. All right. That was the plan yesterday, but luckily the account did not allow me. And thankfully I now have some capital appreciation before I even do my first call. Again, because I bought this very, very cheap. So now I'm going to show you why that's awesome. So here is a quick breakdown because I do plan on showing you guys the current positions I'm in and the current value. So here's the synthetic on the left. Again, no covered calls, but they are going to be listed on the bottom. So here's a buy call, sell put, buy put. Now, again, total expense, in green. I should probably make that red for the expense and then green for the Again, this is a work in progress, so just give me some time. But basically, yeah, I paid 1,044 for the 3 contracts call. I got 951 credit for the put, and I bought a put 537. So in the end, I paid 630 out of pocket. Now, thankfully, again, since I did not sell covered calls, you know, there was nothing else happening. I was just me essentially holding a long position with some downside exposure. I'm sorry, downside protection. So what happened was the value per share of that call went from 348 to $4.25. Woohoo! And then the put, again, the put, which gave a credit of 317, it's now only going to cost, again, because I'm going to have to pay to close this. Should I close this just like YieldMax does, right? Remember the gold digger? This is my gold digger, except she ain't a gold digger. She got cheaper in the process. So this only costs now $871 to close. And then the put, this is the only thing that lost money, right? Because we did not go down since we went up. Actually, no, it did go down. It did get cheaper. Okay, wow, good. So yeah, because they went up. Okay, no, yeah, because they went up. So it is a little cheaper to choose a $6. Yeah, it is cheaper to buy a put at $6 because the price did go up. So all in all, great. All three, all three trades, all three legs, whatever we're calling it, now are worth 903. So if you look over here, right? Actually, no, I said that wrong. You know what? I was right the first time. See, it's just it's too early. But yeah, let's see here. So what I got? So cost $1.79. Again, I had to pay this for the downside protection, right? $1.79 per share. And now again, yeah, okay, since I'm the buyer, that's right. Since I'm the buyer, if I sell this, it is worth less, as we said. But again, when I roll this, which if I have to roll this whole thing, I'd be the seller, right? Because now I own this put and it's now less valuable. So if I sold it, I would only get $499.50. So again, in both examples, as I am the buyer, you'd want this value. Well, I'm not going to say you'd want it, but if it goes up, you and obviously you're making more profit. And then as the seller, you'd want the number to go down because you'd have to pay to close that position. Again, this is just the first video. There's going to be a lot more to come. Hopefully, it'll make sense in the future. But in the end, over here, this is the unrealized gains losses section. So it'll show you the positive amount be the gain, the negative amount be the loss. So that's why, again, yes, the put is down 37.50, but between the call, the bought call and the sold put, I'm up 310 already. I mean, that's a freaking hell of a day. That's a hell of a day. So I am up $273 as a whole. If I have covered calls, obviously I would have updated how much I paid for those, how much they're currently worth, and then my as at unrealized gains or losses. And of course, as we go through, we add synthetic positions, we add covered calls. We will do so accordingly on this spreadsheet. And again, this is brand new to me. I just wanted to share. I want to share this as a series. I don't know if you guys are going to be interested, but I hope you are, because it's essentially the RODY fund, right? And the open, again, this is not in particular to open. Open is just what I chose. I'm going to choose others as well. But for now, to keep it simple, I'm focusing on open. All right. And I'm getting, I'm playing the other side of it now. Now I'm almost, I'm like my own little fund manager here, diving into the danger. So we'll see how it goes. Again, there's a lot of scenarios that can happen once I start selling those naked, quote unquote, covered. Well, we can't call them covered calls. We might have to call these uncovered calls, right? Uncovered. There you go. Now it sounds scarier, doesn't it? Or we call it naked calls. What's the appropriate term? To me, it's naked puts and uncovered calls. I don't know. You guys can judge me and give me your thoughts later on, but that's kind of, this is where we're headed. So again, it's going to be fun. again, the idea is I'm using less money to sell calls. Okay, I'm using less money to sell calls. That's the idea. All right. Hopefully that made sense. Now, of course, I have to talk about degenerate play I did yesterday. As far as my other options trades, I did something unusual, and I decided, you know what, ASST. Again, this is high risk, super high risk. It could go to zero. Absolutely could go to zero. But the volatility on this thing is freaking nuts. In fact, let me show you real quick. Let's see what it is. ASST, the implied volatility. Oh my goodness. It's showing 330%. It's down on the pre-market, which actually I'm rooting for it to go up now because I sold an in the money put. Not just one, I sold 7. But why? Well, because it's supposed to have some merger with Strive, who has like the 10th most Bitcoin. So if that goes through, this trade should be okay. If it doesn't go through, this is a loss. But again, I wanted to take the risk. I wanted to try something a little different. So what happened is I sold 7 contracts in the money put, and I got paid $1.50 per share. Again, the strike is 3, and I'm getting paid $1.50. I'm getting paid 50% of my money back. So essentially, I'm risking how much, right, per contract? I'm risking 300 per contract, and I'm getting 150 in return. So right off the bat, I'm only risking 50% of what, essentially is pending. So you can see here the total premium collected, right, out of this whole thing is, where is this? 150. Yeah, so it's doing what? The number of contracts, 7 times, so it's 700, and then it's multiplying by, where is it? The premium plus the buy to close, right? So 700 times 150, all right? And that brings in about 1,050 total. My weekly income goal is 549. And this excludes Misty, by the way, because I am selling calls on Misty and I'm expecting them to all be assigned early. So this is without Misty dividend. So I need to make 549. So what I did is I made, 1170 is the premium from the Misty calls as well. So I already made my goal. I'm done. I don't have to force anything. So essentially I can start to let these other contracts, expire. So I'm using less money and making my goal. Of course, yes, higher risk. I understand that, higher risk, but higher reward. So again, I got 1,050, right? Overall, how much did I risk? Again, 2,100. The math, I should have just done 10 contracts to keep the math simple for everyone. But again, I put up 2,100, I got 1,050 back. All right. That's to keep it simple. The annualized yield on that is 730%. If this goes completely the other direction, if it tanks, if it goes to 50 cents or zero, I'm basically losing 1,050. Again, because I already got 1,050, 50%. So the most I could lose is 50% of the gamble, if that makes sense. So again, I'm using less money, but making more money. And it's a Halloween trade, by the way. It does expire on 10/31. These other positions, TNA, again, it just keeps going up. I'm going to let these all expire. So this 35 put is going to expire, and the $42 covered call, that's going to get assigned. I'll get 4,200 back in my account. TSLL, I'll have to figure it out, but essentially I could just keep what I have and just roll them for money as long as I want, but we'll keep an eye. But yeah, for Misty, I have now 5 covered calls. I have 2 at 14, 2 at 15. Yesterday I did a 15.50. If today it's up, I'll do a 16. If it's not up, I probably won't sell a covered call. I don't know. We'll just have to see. But again, what I'm doing is I'm moving Misty from one account to the other And I'm doing that through selling calls on this account and selling puts on my dividend car account, because that's where the money is going. And by the way, the dividend car account, the retire now account update, which I believe I have it launched for everyone on Thursday afternoon. So stay tuned for that. All right. Anything else? I do have some open trades still going on. I probably could have closed them early yesterday. I didn't even think about it. Again, I'm doing so much. It's kind of like, that's why I need to let these expire. AMDL. I mean, this thing ran up like 50% yesterday. So it's not. I mean, I don't know. This thing is not getting a sign. That's the moral of the story. And I went to check. I'm like, all right, maybe I can close it for a penny. I couldn't even close it for a penny. They wanted like 10 cents. I'm like, screw you. So this thing, again, look at the strike, $9. AMDL's at 16. Are you kidding me? I mean, so anyway, that's just going to expire worthless. Same thing with RCAT. Those are going to expire worthless. And then, of course, ASST is my DGen play. BMNU is actually going to be another one of my DGen plays. Unfortunately, they keep running up in price. Oh my God, they're at $40. Again, when I did this, it was at 29. I did a $20 strike and I got $400. I mean, I could close this, but it's going to eat up at my premium. So I'm just going to leave this too. It has a further expiration date though, 11/21. So we'll have to keep an eye on for that. And then, of course, I do have some leaps because, as mentioned before, I just ventured into leaps for the first time. And these open leaps are finally looking rather, somewhat valuable here. Where is open on the pre-market? Oh, no. Now open's down 1%, but whatever. These are all at $9. So I could actually sell calls on these as well. And I may. But these were really my lottery ticket gamble in case open went to the moon. But we'll see. Also, I have a put I bought on TSLL. It's not really in my favor right now, but TSLL, Tesla, it goes up, it goes down. I had a chance to close it for a profit on Friday. I missed out because I was being too greedy, but I'm sure I'll get another chance. It's not a big deal. All right. So that's pretty much where we stand on my options journey. Again, I already hit my weekly income. So now what I can do is I could focus on RODY. I could focus on my synthetic, and I could focus on selling my uncovered calls. Again, if that's what we're calling them, if that makes sense. All right. I hope this was interesting. I hope it was helpful. I hope it was fun. But this is something I want to do. This excites me more because it's my trades. It's also a way to hopefully, not sound as robotic. Again, when I'm reading YieldMax trades or other, fun trades, it's like, it's great and all. And I want to do that. I just don't want to do it every day. I want to do some other things. I want to do this because I really, the thing that gets me most excited is talking about my own options trades. I don't know if you can sense that in my voice and my tone. But yeah, that's what's fun for me. So hopefully you guys can enjoy this. Hopefully you'll still follow me. Hopefully you'll still watch going forward. And if you do, I greatly appreciate it. If not, I completely understand. But again, this is not my content every day. Again, I'm going to do a day or two for YieldMax. I'm going to do maybe a day for Roundhill, maybe a day for Granite, and maybe a day for Rex. I don't know. We'll have to see. We'll have to figure it out. And of course, we have the Monday morning show, which, by the way, shout out to Brad yesterday, the income architect. He got up early. Fantastic interview. Great dude. Again, I met him in person. He's awesome. He's a lot more interesting than you would actually think from watching his videos. He's a super friendly dude too. Like he literally would talk to anyone. And I thought that was like the coolest thing. But yeah, shout out to Brad again for doing a nice interview yesterday. People have a lot of respect for him in this space. But yeah, I'm going to have to end it there because I got to get this uploaded and get my ass to work. So as always, guys, keep in mind, definitely none of this was financial advice. I am not a financial advisor, and this video is for fun and entertainment. Do not follow my trades. My trades are high risk, high reward. I'm a degenerate, and that's why I trade the way I do. All right. But if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. You can leave them down in the comments. If you like this content, you want to help out the channel, hit the like button. If you're on, well, no, this is pre-recorded, so it won't be on X. But yeah, follow me on X because again, I'll try to post some more stuff on there too anyway. But I think that's it. So since we're getting to the end of the video, we have to do a keyword. So if you made it this far in the video and you want to prove it, you gotta say the keyword. Keyword. And I have to make it Roddy. I gotta do it. Because again, this is a new series. I'm pumped about it, but I may be by myself on that. I hope you guys are pumped about it too. If not, that's fine. It'll be okay. But it's just something I've been, kind of wanting to do. I just didn't know how I was going to do it. But again, shout out to SB. He's still helping me, by the way. He's awesome. I plan on having him on the morning show, hopefully at some point, along with M Cheese. And I'm sure some of you know him. Again, options gurus everywhere in the Discord, and I'm grateful to have them. All right, guys. So again, if you made it this far in the video and you want to prove it, you got to type in down below, Roddy, not Rudy, Roddy. All right, because Roddy has been on this video the whole time. You hear him? Oh, yeah. All right. Thank you all for watching, and I appreciate it very, very much, and have a great day. Hopefully the audio worked here. Imagine it didn't. All right. Anyway, let me get my ass to work, and I will talk to you all either tonight or tomorrow morning. I'm not sure yet, but have a great day, everyone. Later.